just to listen. Listen to this very serious issue about cancer and what we can do to help. Because believe it or not, you and I can make a difference. And I know we hear that all the time, how we can make a difference, but we are. And we're giving of our hearts, and we're giving of our pockets, and we don't need a pizza party to be rewarded. We don't need ice cream to be rewarded. Because the best gift you can give is your heart and your love for mankind. So let's welcome our guest, Miss Betsy, please.
Hey boys and girls, like she said, my name is Miss Betsy, and I am here from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. That's a pretty big name for an organization, but we actually have a really big job because every single day we're going to work to try and fight cancer. Especially blood cancer is what our specialty is. So today we're going to have a good time and we're going to learn about my organization, we're going to learn about what blood cancer is and what you guys can do to help. But I'm going to need you to be sitting down with your listening ears, not talking. Because I'm going to need some helpers and I'm going to be paying attention to see who is being the best listener when I choose my helper. If it gets a little bit noisy, I'm just going to hold my hand up like this and wait for you guys to get quiet before I keep talking. Does that sound like a plan? Yes. Wonderful. So first I'm going to tell you about a friend of mine named Mason. And Mason is in 3rd grade and he lives here in Denver. And when Mason was 4, his mom decided it was probably time to take him to Disney World. How many of you guys have ever been to Disney World? It's pretty cool, right? And he would be pretty excited, especially a 4-year-old on his first trip. But when Mason got to Disney World, he didn't want to go to the park and ride the rides or buy snacks or get his picture taken with Mickey Mouse. He just wanted to lay in bed and cry. He was really tired and he didn't feel well and he just cried and cried. And his mom thought, well, this doesn't make much sense. A 4-year-old going to the happiest place on earth, and he doesn't even want to go visit. So when Mason got back to Denver, his mom took him to see a doctor. The doctor did a bunch of tests and said, go home, we'll call you guys when we find something out. So when the doctor called Mason's mom the next day, he said, I'm so sorry, Mason's very sick. He has something called leukemia. And he's so sick, in fact, that you can't drive him back to the hospital. He needs to get in an ambulance and get here as fast as possible. So that sounds pretty scary, right? The good news is that after 3 years of treatment in the hospital every day, Mason getting shots and taking pills and going through a treatment called chemotherapy, he's all better. And now he's just a regular kid back at school, just like all of you. So let's learn a little bit about what Mason had and what blood cancer is. So everyone in this room has blood, right? Yes. And you can see it if you look on your arm and you look at your blue veins, that's your blood. And sometimes maybe you fall and get a scratch or scrape your knee and you've probably seen that blood. Sometimes it's a little scary. But your blood is made up of 3 different types of cells. So, does anyone know what one of those types of cells is called? I'm going to go right here on the corner. No, your blood is in your veins. I'll give you a hint. It's the type of cell is a color and it starts with R. Go ahead. Red blood cell. Come up here. So, he's going to be Randy, our red blood cell. Can everyone say hi, Randy? Hi, Randy! So Randy has a really important job. Do you know what your job is, Randy? No, it's okay, I can tell you. His job is to take the oxygen that you breathe in through your lungs and make sure it gets to your whole body so that you have energy. So, when you guys are in gym class and you do jumping jacks, do you hold your breath? No. So Randy, can you do a jumping jack for us? Awesome. But if he was trying to hold his breath while he was doing that, good, Randy, you can pick your ball up now. So if he was trying to hold his breath while he was doing that, he'd have a lot more trouble because his body wouldn't be getting the energy that it needed to do that hard work. So that's Randy's very important job. Does anybody know what another type of cell might be? We're gonna get in the far back corner. You're gonna have to speak really loudly. A white blood cell, that's exactly right. So run down here. And this is gonna be Wayne, our white blood cell. Wayne, do you know what your job is? No, not at all. Okay, go stand next to Randy. And hold the W out so that everyone can see it. So Wayne's job is to fight infection. In fact, he's a little bit like a ninja. Can you do a ninja move for us? Not on Randy? Yeah, very good. So when bacteria and germs get in your blood, Wayne takes them out like a ninja and to make sure that you don't get sick. So when you do get sick, which happens sometimes, and you get a cold, you're not sick for like a month or a year, are you? Maybe like a couple days, maybe like a week, because your white blood cells are doing their job, working really hard to fight that infection. Okay, we have one more type of blood cell, which is the toughest one. How about right on the end in the black shirt? Purple, you're close. It does start with a P. Come on down though. This is our platelet. And he's going to be Paul, our platelet. And, Paul, do you know what your job is? No. Okay, so what Paul does is he clots your blood. So when you, like I talked about, when you fall down and scrape your knee, it might bleed a little bit. But it doesn't bleed forever, right? What happens? Does anybody know? It makes a scab because Paul's working hard to clot your blood so that it doesn't run and run and run and run. And that's really important. So right now, we have healthy blood, which is pretty awesome, and that's what everyone in here has. And that's what you need to make your body do all the things that it can do. So what happens when you get a blood cancer is that one of your white blood cells kind of changes, it mutates into a cancer cell. Thank you, that was perfect. And it becomes a cancer cell. And then the cancer cell becomes another cancer cell, which becomes another one, and another one, and another one. And you end up with all these cancer cells in your blood. So I'm gonna need 3 cancer cells. In the pink, in the blue with the black stripe, and let's do in the red on the end. Don't worry, there's more chances, you guys. So these are our mean cancer cells. Stay quiet, you guys. So these are our mean cancer cells. And what they do, they don't actually hurt your good cells. They just make it really, really crowded in your blood so that the good cells can't do their jobs. So can each of my cancer cells stand in front of one of the healthy cells? Almost. And face the audience and make the meanest cancer cell face you can. Pretty intimidating, if you ask me. So they're blocking out the cells so that they can't do their jobs. So what does that mean? That means that our platelet can't keep your blood from clotting. So some of you might know that one of the first symptoms of someone who has leukemia is that they get a lot of bruises, and they bruise really easily, and they're not just little, big, scary bruises. And that's because the blood is not clotting. Randy can't do his job. He can't give you energy. He's not getting oxygen all to your body, which is why Mason was so tired and just wanted to lay in bed and cry. Wayne, the white blood cell, can't do his job, which means that you get infections, and they stay for a long time. So one thing that's really hard for kids who have a blood cancer is that they have to stay at home for their whole treatment. And boys usually have to be treated for 3 years, and girls have to be treated for 2 years. Okay, guys, let's stay quiet. But that's a really long time if you think about not being able to go to school, not being able to play with other kids.